It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it's great to have you in studio today. Yavapai County Emergency Management's Denny Folk and Marcy Slay back with us. Hello.
Hello.
It is that time of the year.
Yes, it is.
Is it not?
Yes.
Yeah. Wildfire season time. So this is at least one time we got to have you in this year to talk about wildfire season. So website for information, yavapai.us. You could find you guys under the Public Works Department.
Correct.
Link in the departments, and lots of information there, lots of different sites you can go to and find out just about anything about wildfire season going on in the state and what you can do in your own backyard to make things better for yourself and your property. And we're going to talk about that today. But first, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we got a press release from you guys saying that you were going to do kind of a test run. Get everybody kind of honed up and skilled up and ready to go and see if we're ready for wildfire season. So why don't we start there? How'd things go with that test?
Well, we start ramping up probably November time frame. Our preparedness cycle comes into phase, and what we do is we offer a lot of classes, a lot of training leading up to wildfire season. Kind of capstone that with an exercise, and this year we had a full-scale exercise over 5 different venues. We tested the Emergency Operations Center and how we operate that and how we interact with other agencies. We also had the basin operations folks had a major exercise over in Schoolhouse Gulch. We had the Jeep posse work on evacuations, camp evacuations, and their processes. American Red Cross set up, as well as Animal Disaster Services. So it was a pretty large exercise that day. We had folks come up from the state to do our evaluation, and it looks like our people through the years they've gained a lot of experience. They're very good at what they do.
It's different than it was 10 years ago, isn't it? Do you think it's far more organized than it was 10 years ago, just with all the different emergencies we've had and the response we've had to have?
I think so.
Yeah.
Marcy would be the expert 10 years ago. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think it's gone a long way. There's a lot more communication, a lot more teamwork, and agencies coming together for one purpose.
Yeah, I've noticed a huge difference too. When an emergency happens, getting the information out to the public is much easier today than it was before. There was like one person you could contact, 10 years ago,
right,
that you get information from, and you're trying to share that person with everybody in the state. And now it's I got Denny or I got Marcy, and then you've even got some backup folks as well too, right? That kind of step in.
We've been training some other people to help and assist, and we've got other PIOs with the health department and SO and everybody that steps up and helps when we need it. So it's really great. Everybody's working together really good.
Most important part of that equation is folks like you, Paul.
Oh yeah.
Get the message out, talk to our folks, share with them the important things that come out. The media has a major role to play in preparing our folks and preparing our people, not only for wildfires, but for emergencies that come their way. And we depend on you and folks in your field very much. So thank you.
It's a good working relationship we have, I think, especially Yavapai County. I feel very close to you guys. I call you anytime I need to, and I get information I need, and off I go. So yeah, it's gotten much better. Not that it was bad. It's just that you could tell there is a difference in how the information is released now. So how many folks were involved in this training exercise, would you say? It's got to be a huge group.
It went over 2 days. Our part was just 1 day, and on that 1 day we had about 160 people, maybe almost 200. No, it was 260 on Thursday and about 100 on Friday.
And these are all the emergency responders? This isn't like me pretending like I broke my arm and I need assistance?
No, it was fire agencies, law enforcement agencies,
wow,
health department, board of supervisors came in, so many different departments.
We had we operate under what we call the one county concept, meaning that when disaster strikes in Yavapai County, we as Yavapai County will have a singular one county response.
Oh, I like that.
And what that allows is for our partners in public works, in flood control, in MIS, in development services, in the health department. All of these folks pull together, and they have people that are trained and have gone to school and to work in the Emergency Operations Center and to work with us. Our office only has 4 people, and if it wasn't for the development services, for the public health, for the flood control, we could not do our mission. So these people and these directors support the Emergency Operations Center, and it's through their commitment that we're able to make happen everything that we do. And all of that was brought together under that one county concept, and I think maybe Yavapai County is the only county that operates under that concept.
Gosh, like I said, things have changed so much in the last 10 years. How long have you been now with emergency management,
This is
Denny?
my 6th year, isn't it, Marcy? 6?
I believe so.
Yeah,
About 6
it's my
years?
6th year.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it's going really well. Definitely going really well. All right, let's jump from, so we're geared up. We're trained up. Everybody did a great job. And you said the state came in and kind of gave you a test and kind of watched. So
Right.
what kind of grade did you get?
Do we know yet?
Do we know? Did we get
know.
We A+ in it?
We know. Let's put it this way.
Is there a grade given to it?
The idea of the exercise, although you want to do well, okay, you want to hit the ball out of the park, stand up at the home plate and point to the back wall.
Sure.
You want to do that every time. But really what you want is you want to be able to discover what you need to improve.
Exactly, right.
That's the key to a successful exercise, is understanding what you need to improve, where your weaknesses are. The state told us that we did a very, very good job and that we hit the ball out of the fence. However, you need to take a look at these areas right here to kind of shore those edges up.
Okay.
And I so appreciate that, because our endeavor is always to get a little bit better. And although we do what we do very, very well, it's kind of a waste of time and a waste of money if you don't get any feedback where you can grow from it. I like to grow.
I'd agree with that. I mean, no one's perfect.
And I want to
Right.
grow. So if there's something that says, Denny, you can do this better, then, like, I'll give you an example. One of the things I did was forget to call some folks that I was supposed to call. That was my area of improvement. So out of that, we made a checklist that will remind me to make sure that I include these people in my telephone calls.
Gotcha.
So it was little things like that, but all in all, the processes of our Emergency Operations Center went very, very well. And that's due to the good people that we have that work there. And we have some wonderful, wonderful folks.
Well, I bring them in here and we talk to them. We sit them down, and it's just amazing how everybody seems to be just right on the same page. We've had Animal Disaster Services in here, Red Cross in here. Everybody just seems to work very well together.
They do.
It's nice. It's
They're
really
good
nice.
people. All of them are great people.
Let me ask you this. Last year when you were in here, we were talking about how Yarnell, we had that fire that came by Yarnell again, evacuations in Yarnell and Peoples Valley. But Yarnell had that fire break this time, that we call mitigation work that was done. Is there any more of that that's taking place in the county? And you've got 60 seconds to answer this question.
Yes.
Yes, okay. A little more than that.
Every year, and really, Marcia, chime in here, okay? We do, the number one job of emergency management is to
Facilitate.
Thank you.
I stepped in.
Here we go.
Yeah. Facilitate collaboration and that coordination. On our team, we have the Prescott National Forest, BLM, Arizona State Forestry, Natural Resource Conservation Service, POWIC, which is now Yavapai Firewise.
Okay.
We have them. We also have homeowners and the fire districts and departments, as well as the county. We develop our mitigation strategy every year through 2 different conferences, one in the fall, one in the spring. It's a workshop. And we lay out our mitigation. This year, over 39,000 acres combined among all of our partners was mitigated in Yavapai County.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's 8.9% of the total WUI, or wildland-urban interface, was touched somehow.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I am so proud. I'm so proud of the partnerships that we have and the people that work with us. Think about the thousands. That's thousands of acres that the National Forest mitigated, that the BLM mitigated, that Arizona State Forestry mitigated, that Yavapai County mitigated, that our homeowners mitigated, all for the purpose of building that defensible space. And so we're a leader in mitigation, and we believe in it. And You never know exactly how effective it will be, but I can tell you this much. We save about $25 in response for every dollar spent in mitigation. And in my mind, that's money well spent.
Yeah, well, we saw it last year with Yarnell, most definitely. Yarnell last year, we saw that fire turn away from Yarnell and gave that firefighters a chance to get in there and stand their ground and push that fire out of there. So it does work. We got to take our first break, okay? Denny Folk and Marcy Slay with Yavapai County Emergency Management in studio today. The website is yavapai.us. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
This was me. And Mom and Dad. And my big brother Alex. And Jack. And this was the day that I learned that sandals get their name from sand. That jellyfish aren't made of jelly. That stars don't just come from the sky. That the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget that I was sick. And it changed everything. This was my wish.
I call you and say, I'm with the IRS. You owe back taxes, and if you don't pay today, you're going to jail. You can fix this by sending cash. And you actually believe me? Too smart to fall for it? Well, last year, Americans paid $100 million to guys like me. 1 in 6 people were scammed. Can you believe it? Well, you shouldn't. I just made that up, too. You are a little gullible.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're going to try to hit a couple of things as quick as possible. We've got about, 8 minutes before the next break. But the first thing we want to talk about is defensible space. We've done some stories on it. We've even had you on the air, Marcy, talking about it as well with us on this. But defensible space, we've seen it time and time again work. Denny, you know this too. Garlands in Oak Creek Canyon for the slide fire, use that as a perfect example, how the slide fire started going up the canyon. Garlands had created some defensible space. The fire hit that defensible space, said, oh, there's nothing to burn here, but hey, there's this whole mountain right here next to me, so I'm going to run up this mountain and I'm going to burn that. And that pretty much saved Oak Creek Canyon. There was a fire in the village of Oak Creek, I want to say 10 years ago. I don't know why that number comes to my mind, but 10 years seems to be the number. But we saw where one house, and we see it over and over again too, where one house burns to the ground, but the house right next door to it doesn't, because they've gotten rid of all of that tall brush and the wood pile's not stacked against the house, and they've taken measures to make sure their home is less susceptible to a wildfire. So why don't we talk about some of the things we should do for defensible space on our properties?
Well, like you mentioned, making sure that brush is cut back away from your home. They get up to 30 feet that they suggest. And you want to make sure, they call it ladder fuels, and why they call that is because you'll have lower grasses go to a small bush, to a bigger bush, to a tree, to your house. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a ladder. It climbs all that vegetation and gets to your home. So keeping that stuff away from your home, making sure your gutters are clear. You could have a fire a mile or few down the road, and then you have sparks that come into your property. If you have anything on your porch that could catch, on your roof that could catch, that can start your home, even if your home is nowhere near that fire that's going. So it's really important to keep that stuff clear. And we have the perfect thing to help you with that, which is be free / drop off at all the county transfer stations.
We've been talking about those for months,
Yes.
too. Yeah, they've been ongoing for quite some time.
Yes, so there's a lot of places you can take that brush to until June 1st.
Okay.
All of the county transfer stations, also City of Prescott has some cleanup they're doing. Prescott Valley has some cleanup they're doing. There's another one in Paulden.
Isn't there a transfer station in Camp Verde?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, you mentioned the sparks. I think people find that hard to believe, that a wildfire that could be miles away. But I remember the slide fire. I remember seeing quarter-size pieces of ash dropping into my yard. Even further than that, falling in the city of Flagstaff from the slide fire. And it was, I don't know.
It's called spotting.
Yeah, 7-8 miles away. And, you know, okay, so we've got this fire burning, which it creates its own weather. I'm right about that. There's some ferocious hot winds and stuff that go on down there. But then you add the spring winds on top of it that are happening that we have right now. That stuff can carry on forever. So the roof is real important, right? To get those rain gutters cleaned out, the pine needles removed, leaves gone.
Right, and even inside your attic, because some people don't have good screens on their attic
that's a good point.
windows, and they go right into your attic, and before you know it, you see smoke in your house, you don't know where it's coming from, and it's in your attic, and it can quickly spread. So it's really important just to make sure there's nothing on your roof that can catch.
Okay, all right. And what about tree limbs hanging over the top of my roof?
Right, you need to keep those trimmed back.
Okay, all right. So there's all of that. So, I mean, it doesn't take long to do this each year, right? You just go outside and take a walk around your property. And like I've gone out and you go out in the fall and I rake up all the leaves, okay?
Right.
But in the spring, for some reason, there's still more there. So, but I've gone around the whole property and I've raked them all up again. And, you know, then you want to weed eat on a regular basis and keep the grasses down, because grass in Arizona gets tall really fast and then it dries out. So, yeah, just keep going out there.
On the defensible space, the other part of it that you have commercials going for right now is the one less spark. So as you're cleaning your property, you want to make sure that you're cautious of those sparks that you're producing with those weed eaters, lawnmowers, whatever. That's another thing that you have to be cautious of. And if you have empty vegetation fields next to your property, you don't want to start a spark that could lead to going towards someone else's neighborhood. So that's another thing to really watch for.
Let's talk about what makes a spark, because I'm kind of surprised at just what makes a spark. The one I think that gets me is lawnmowers and weed eaters and having rocks in your yard. So here you are mowing the lawn, you hit that rock with the lawnmower blade and there's a spark.
Yes.
Okay, so, but the one I think we've seen this year the most so far, I want to say there was some fires down in Wilhoit. I want to say 260 we had some too, but I'm not quite sure about 260. But we've had several, and 260 has been between here and Camp Verde. Chains.
Yep.
Yes.
Those darn chains.
Don't be a drag. Pick up your chain.
Don't be a drag. Yeah, the chains. It almost seems to me like that's the number one thing that seems to start these fires. And years ago, I remember we probably wouldn't necessarily get a cause. I think people were, it just wasn't a thing. I don't know what changed, but maybe we saw it happen. But then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we've got 6 spot fires between Cottonwood and Camp Verde along Highway 260. They're all on the same side of the highway.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, change.
We had that happen over just to the, I guess, south on Highway 89 of Wilhoit. About 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was on a Sunday afternoon, and
Yep.
next thing you know, my phone's blowing up, and it was a chain starting fires, and it was like 6 of them right on the side of the highway, over about a 2-3 mile period.
Yeah. We had some on Cornville Road too, with a catalytic converter. Someone's catalytic converter failed, and those hot pieces of clay were, excuse me, getting shot out of the tailpipe every so often, and poof, there's a fire. There's a fire. There's a fire. So vehicle maintenance is another thing. You want to keep your vehicle maintained. Low air on the tires allows the rim to, I guess, hit the ground every now and again. And
and that can cause sparks.
Right.
And then the hill coming up I-17, coming north, that hill really can overheat cars, so car maintenance. But when you're pulling off to the side road, watch for those tall grasses, because you have all that heat of your engine and something that could be leaking, and you pull off into those tall grasses and it could start a fire that way too. So a lot of things with vehicle maintenance and yard maintenance to watch for that could cause sparks.
Gosh, we have to take a break already too. Welders and grinders too. We see those happen all the time as well. Yavapai County Emergency Management in studio today. Denny Folk and Marcy Slay. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna. Mateo.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
I didn't know where my life was going. With Wounded Warrior Project's help, I was able to get my life back in order. I thank Wounded Warrior Project not only for helping me, but also helping the veterans that I know that are dealing with the same struggles that I am. Wounded Warrior Project understood what I was going through. I'm grateful that Wounded Warrior Project helped me reestablish my life. I am living proof.
Hello, I'm Jen Cohen, host of Verde Valley TV's hit TV show, The Verde Valley Experience. On each episode, we feature local organizations, nonprofits, persons of interest, events, activities, and great local musicians. It's informative, it's entertaining, it's fun. It's the Verde Valley Experience.
We meet online, and I tell you, I'm falling in love. I have to see you in person, but I need a loan for the ticket. I really think you're the one. And I really think you're desperate. Sure enough, you send cash and never see me again. Too smart to fall for this? Last year alone, 12 million Americans lost money this way. Can you believe it? You shouldn't. I made that up, too. Might not be as smart as you thought you were.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left in the program. This is something we've got to talk about, and we hope it never happens to you. It's your home. I hope it never happens at my home, and I'm sure you guys hope it never happens at your house. Right. But all of a sudden, here's YCSO deputy at your front door going, you got to go. There is a fire coming over this ridge, and you need to get the heck out of your house right now, and it's coming really fast, as wildfires do in this area, especially this time of year, because they are being fueled by dry fuels and high winds, which we're seeing over the last couple of days. A little cooler today, but things have been burning now for over a month. We've been seeing wildfires pop up here and there. So we want to evacuate the house, but we should have an emergency supply of things that we definitely want to grab when we're taking out of the house. Right. And we're going to talk about the 5 Ps right now. But Marcy's thrown an extra one in there now, so now there's 6. But let's go over the 5 Ps.
You got prescriptions, papers, photos, pets.
Pets.
With people, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then our last one is phones. Did I say that one already?
Mm-hmm. No, I've got pets, prescriptions, important papers, photos, personal computer, and phone.
Yes.
Personal computer, we could just put all that stuff on a drive or something.
Yeah,
just
grab
take it
a
with
drive.
You?
Yeah. I mean, if it's too hard to grab and go, then make sure you've got your important stuff backed up and grab your backup.
There you go.
And then always make sure you have a power supply for your phone, and so you can actually use it later.
Okay, there's that. There's that too. Make sure you got your prescriptions. If you don't, the Red Cross is usually very good at the evacuation areas of being able to help folks get their prescriptions if for some reason they didn't have them. But pets, you should probably have a few days worth of food supply.
Right.
You should have a few days of food supply and some extra clothing that you could take with you as well.
Right.
And keep those with you also, right?
Right. You want to have water supply, enough for everybody for every day. There's a lot of stuff you need to make sure that you've got. Some of the things that I've tried to get people thinking about, not only, we're focusing on wildfire, but just preparedness in general. You could have a house fire in your neighborhood. It's not a wildfire, and that could come over. Flooding, anything this time of year, you just need to be prepared. So you want to think about some of the things in your home. You have a fire extinguisher handy. Does everybody know how to use that fire extinguisher? That's one of the questions. If you do have a phone, does everybody know how to use that phone? Is there a password on that phone? Can kids pick it up and call 911? Or is there a password on it? What is your child going to do if you're not home? That's another thing that I've always tried to focus on, making sure your kids know what you need to do. You might be prepared and you might think, okay, this is what we're going to grab, this is what we're going to do, but what if you're not there? Where are they going to go and who are they going to contact? That's something really important to think about. And then on the other side of children is the school plans. So if there's an emergency there, or if there's a wildfire heading that direction, What is the school's plan? How are you going to be in contact with them? Do you have an older relative in the area? What's their plan? How are they going to get out? Is there someone with mobile issues that need help? Does your neighbor need help? So those are the things you need to keep that in mind of when you're planning. What is, besides your home, what about your friends, your family, your relatives? What's their plan and how can you help them?
Okay, all right, we are out of time, but that's good stuff. And this is something like you do on a county size. We should do this in our home. Just do a practice drill and do it on a regular basis and get to know those things. All right, guys, thank you so much. Yavapai County Emergency Management's Denny Folk and Marcy Slay. Website again is yavapai.us. That's today's Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.